friends, family, and colleagues. My name is Baballo Makgetha. Of the many roles that I play in life, the most important is that of being a parent. But the second, equally important, is that of being a social activist. This is closely aligned with my novel, which I titled Mountains and Hills to Overcome, as well as my affiliation with the Female Wave of Change organization. Together with my South African chapter tribe of wise women, we pride ourselves as agents of social change. We believe in creating awareness that stories do matter and that we need to share our stories to firstly heal ourselves and to inspire others as well. So remember that all stories do matter. So today we are going to take a look at the history of the South African chapter. And joining me, I have got none other than Tibello Mochema, who was actually the mastermind of the South African chapter. Tibello, welcome.
Thank you, Baballo.
I do not want to take too much away from you. Can I please ask you to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Baballo. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and happy Mother's Day. I'm Tibello Mochema, as Baballo has indicated, and I've been involved with Female Wave of Change South Africa chapter since its inception in March 2018.
That's a long time ago.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
I remember that day very clearly because I was sitting somewhere in North Africa and I got a call from you telling me that I needed to log on to some website because you were launching this movement. And we didn't have much time to talk except, just exchange the link. So I had to trust your brain on that one. That was not going to be a waste of my time. Tell us more about that day, Tibello, please.
Oh, that was such an awesome day that we had, Baballo, and for me it was a dream come true because we were launching a global organization here in South Africa, and having to connect with people like yourselves in North Africa, with our friends and colleagues that were in the States and in Europe. I just thought, wow, this is awesome. And the audience that we had in the room on that day, it was really a wonderful experience that we had.
Yeah. And I remember just being glued to my screen for 24 hours because now we went hour by hour from different countries. How did you pull that one through?
I don't know. It was really through the connection and work with other people in pulling that together. I had been approached in October 2017, to consider being part of this organization. And because we were going to be having the International Women's Day in March 2018, we thought that would be a wonderful day to be able to launch the organization in South Africa. And between October and March, it was really a lot of hard work and putting minds together and pulling people who were like, what are you talking about? And just saying to them, come with me and we're going to make this a success.
Yeah. So, Tibello, having done all that, I will ask just a series of questions and you can really just hop in between as you please. What triggered that? What support did you receive at the time? And you may even take us through some of the challenges that you went through because it couldn't have been easy to pull a movement like that.
Thank you, Baballo. Yes, indeed, there was so much really that happened. But what triggered that for me was getting involved with a global women movement, right? A movement that was bringing women together so that they can be able to acknowledge themselves. So that they can be able to acknowledge their feminine energy. That really just, interested me. And also a movement that brought women from all walks of life. I really loved, that concept that when we get together as women from all walks of life, we're able to then bring our positive energies to be able to make a change in the world. And I was also encouraged by knowing that We would have women where we'd be able to converse about the opportunities that we as women have in terms of being able to change the world, and less about talking about men and crying about men and being upset, but really around saying, what is it that we can do as women? And lastly, what triggered that for me had really been a call from my mentor, Tina Thompson, who is, a South African who now lives in the States, where she called me and said, we're looking for somebody to help us start the movement in South Africa. And I said to Tina, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Mentorship.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mentorship.
Absolutely.
Mentorship all the way, yeah.
And in the process, you asked the question, who supported me? Tina first, I would say my sisters, my friends, and my colleagues, and more importantly, the leaders from the organization. Ingun and Renee, and you, Babalo, when you came into the board, and other leaders of the organization, I just realized we have a powerful global movement here, and I could pick up the phone, or I could send a WhatsApp, or I could send an email at any time to anyone asking them what to do, how do we do it, why do we do it this way? And, the one thing I remember Ingun indicated was that this is your movement. Make it what you need to make it, to be in South Africa. And so with all of that, we were then able to get to the March 2018, launch, where we had over 50 women in a room who then were interested to come and learn about this organization. And it was a wonderful afternoon. And as you said, to also be able to connect with other women from across the world, because the event was not only a South Africa event. We had events in the States, we had events in the Netherlands, in Australia, and that's when for me it became true that we are part of a global organization.
Wow. I remember that day, like I said, just like it was yesterday. But now let's move from 2018 to 2019. South Africa pulls a stunt through, really a switch out of the global mouth by hosting the first conference for the organization.
Indeed.
Talk us through that. It must have been such a moment for you.
Indeed it was, Babalu. I think it was not only for me, but also the team that was with us at that time. I remember when we had a meeting with Ingun, and she was saying, I'm thinking of having a global conference. And I said to Homotso then, who we were working quite closely with, Homotso Mashalani, most of you will remember her as also having stood up in the role of being ambassador for South Africa. So I said to her, Homotso, we're going to make this thing happen. And she looked at me like, are you crazy, woman?
Yeah.
I said, this is why we are women, we make it work. And from, putting the concept together, putting the proposal together and sending it to the global office and, to the event taking place, we had a lot of, excitement in the country, in the world about, the conference taking place. We had some challenges as well.
Yeah.
The financial challenges, like any event of that kind of magnitude. I mean, our target was 250 women from across the world, and I was quite impressed that we were close to that number.
Yeah.
We were very close to that number when the conference took place. So being able to bring all of these women together, being able to bring old women, young women, corporate women from the corporate world, women, from school, young ladies, NGO leaders, all sorts of, people that we're able to get on that day, to be able to have Griselda Kananda with us, sharing her story in terms of her life story, to have Mami Vaughan sharing her story, having only met Mami Vaughan when we launched, in March 28, and we're having her playing a big role for the conference in October 2019. So it was really a massive achievement, not only for me, not only for the team, but also for the whole country, I believe.
Yeah.
Because it will always be in the book. So the story of South Africa will always include that. The first global conference of the Female Wave of Change was held in South Africa.
It's never too late to congratulate you still on that huge achievement. Thank you so much, Tibello, and we wish you all of the best. We know that you have now moved to bigger and much more fulfilling roles in your life, but you'll always be remembered as the glue of the South African chapter Female Wave of Change organization. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Babalo. And this is truly a movement that I will continue to be part of until the day I die.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.